So in theory, harnessing the power of social media and the billions of conversations and transforming them into actionable insight makes a lot of sense. But I'm sure you're probably wondering a couple things. A, can it really be that easy? Do I need an army of IT people building and maintaining this for me? Well, many of the advancements made in IBM Social Media Analytics version 1.3, which just released, were focused on making it even easier to build a social media analytics model. Terminology changes as well as changes to the UI and the process of defining a model. So let me show you a quick tour and show you how easy it is. So first of all, it's available on-prem and in the cloud, so deployment doesn't get any easier than that. We also integrate with a couple of third parties like BoardReader and GNIP, which takes care of indexing all the social media content, Facebook, Twitter, millions of review sites, blogs, and forums. Here you can see that we can choose which media sources we wish to include in our model, or we can define media sets if you wanted to specifically include or exclude specific sources. In this section, we can choose the date, which defines the period which we wish to analyze with our model. We can choose the language for the analysis, and a couple new languages in this release, Brazilian, Portuguese, and Russian. And this last part here, the content processing section, which defines the data discovery aspect of social media analytics, an important step in the model building process, which I'll show you a little bit later on. So with all those done, next we need to define the specifics of what your model will analyze. So maybe you want to do a comparison of brands, products, features, etc., or all of the above. You group these into what we call themes. And for each theme, you can define a role, which you see in the dropdowns. So choosing a role, these are predefined, will define specific parameters in the analysis of the social media context you're looking at to account for nuances in the language depending on the context of what you're looking at. So in this example, I've defined two themes, internet types and characteristics of these different types, which are both composed of what we call concepts. So if you look at the concepts for internet types, cable, fiber, optic, and DSL, let's say we wanted to add dial-up, given that there still is, believe it or not, 3% of Americans who still use dial-up. So I'll edit the internet types theme and I'll add dial-up as a concept. So when I add dial-up and I click on it, there's three columns on the right, which we have to define what the concept dial-up is made of. I'm looking for social media posts that include the words dial-up or variations of that word, maybe without the dash. The context is internet, so I want to make sure that the post is relevant, so I'll add internet. And then there are keywords on the right-hand side, which I might want to explicitly exclude as well. So that's the basics of how we define the model. We can then get estimates of how many documents this model will retrieve based on the time period we specified and the sources, and then we can run the analysis. It's a couple-step process. We harvest the content via the third-party providers. We then analyze and process the content, and then we export it to a pre-configured BI dashboard. In 3 clicks, easy as that. So let's take a quick peek at the dashboard where you can consume the results. You can see the roles, themes, concepts, sources, media sets that we defined in the configuration in the top here, as well as relationships, which allows us to compare across themes. On the left-hand side, you can see different areas of the dashboard that align to the topics we've been discussing today. The share of voice, which shows a breakdown of topics by volume, trend over time, geography. We can change it to a percentage view to better compare different concepts, or by affinity, which measures how entities are related to each other, giving insight about possible strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, or threat areas based on the affinity between the dimensions or attributes. The relationship shows specific information about the relationships between the two themes we've selected. The reach section shows information about the sources of the content, and sentiment focuses on the analyzed sentiment of the post, all of which is driven by the statistical text analysis that was performed on our captured social media content. In the segmentation section, we see the result of the analysis of the text and gives us information about the author, like demographics, like age, gender, marital status. In the behavior section, we determine from the post whether the author is a user, recommender, prospective user, detractor, and see a series of charts broken down by those categories. In the influence category section, we can see the amount of social network influence that the captured authors have through our integration with third-party provider Cloud. And finally, we have the evolving topics section, which allows you to do some true data discovery. So unlike other social media products that simply count the reoccurrence of words, social media analytics applies statistical algorithms to the captured content, shows and statistically relevant groups of words or phrases which are ranked by their importance. And this is important because your model is only as good as your knowledge of the topic. So this evolving topics section helps you uncover topics you may not have known about or thought of within the social media content captured in your model. So then you can take relevant new information, integrate it back into your model via the configuration page and refine it, etc., etc. So that's a quick run through the latest version of IBM Social Media Analytics. Hopefully through this short demo, you've been able to get a better understanding of the power and the flexibility of this tool, which would allow any user in any role, any department, any organization or industry the ability to harness some of the hidden insights that lie in social media.